Yeah.
I was shocked of the crucifixion
Of this guy.
of some of the Calypsonians at the semi-final.
Well, he had a nice beat. That song, the real dancing. You can really dance on that tune.
No,
The
but I'm
Tears
looking
for
at
King or whatever it
listen.
is.
I'm
Uh,
looking at JD who placed second at the quarterfinal, and
and he
there's
couldn't
no
even
place
make
for
December.
me. Huh?
Yeah. Well, it's something we can discuss. But tonight, what we want to tell listeners, we're supposed to have King Dice and Bob in the studio to release their second song. Both of them should be here anytime because we should have them for the first half an hour. Also, we'll have somebody from the Salisbury Sports Committee will join us for a few minutes to tell us about their committee because I think they have a league going on. Also, we'll have Sheldon Kazimi to tell us about the Newtown Football League, which just ended, Lobby. And then we'll have Andrew Mason and Reg Pereira. Both of them will be joining us from 7 o'clock to talk about the West Indies recent success, as you may say, in Australia. Also, the under-19 has a crucial game tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock. We'll speak about that as well.
Against Australia.
Yeah, they have a crucial game, in fact, and South Africa plays Sri Lanka at the same time, 4 a.m. tomorrow. In fact, West Indies are in a must-win situation. And even if they win, it has to be a big win because if it's a close game, because of Australia's net run rate, West Indies and South Africa wins easily against Sri Lanka. West Indies might struggle to get to the semi-final. So, interesting cricket tomorrow morning. There's also cricket at 11:30. West Indies play tonight, Lobby, the first ODI, 11:30.
Yeah.
And then India and England start the second test at 12 o'clock tonight as well. So it's a lot of cricket between tonight and tomorrow morning. So plenty for the listeners to look forward to. Like I said, we're looking to Dice and Bob should have been here. We haven't seen them yet. They should have been there, but Ronald Lander has just joined us.
Good to see. Good to see Lander in the flesh.
Yeah, it looked like he came for some function.
He looks solid. He
looks debonair. I mean, in the long sleeves and look very, very.
As usual, he's always an immaculate individual.
Yeah, that's why he looked debonair like the mighty Sparrow sometimes. Good night, Ronald.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah.
I just came from saying goodbye to Irvin Totes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, man.
Yeah. Well, he played for Celtic, you remember? He played for our club. Yeah,
his father was a former member of Celtic.
So. In fact, he was the manager. You remember when we came back in football, I think in the 80s, Totes was the manager, his father. And Irvin played for us together with Geoff Austin, Win, Ralph Richards, these guys. Yes, Lobby?
Yeah, remember he was a key player on Grammar Academites, which he might coach for how many years? Right, and all that. And you can look at again, Sebastian, while we're on that, the secondary schools in those days, grammar school had their own ground. Grammar school, these schools provided players, all right, for the national teams, both in all sports. What happened today?
Well, as we talk about sports, in fact, there's supposed to have been a meeting this afternoon in Kalibishi. And it's sad that you hear people talking about they want to build a school in the middle of the playing field. How are you going to build a school and these people have nowhere to play? I just don't understand how things are done in Dominica. You hear people going to have a meeting, Today, they say it's not a protest, but the villagers are going to come together because they're against putting a school in the only playing area they have. You want to take it to build a school. I just don't understand how things are done in them. There's no planning. People just get up one morning and they say they're going to do something. I just don't understand it. I mean, so I heard there's a meeting. We don't know the outcome of that meeting. And even the Goodwill School, Ronald, we see part of the ground being used there. And all over the place, this sort of nonsense going on. How can you want to take the only playing area the people have in Kalibishi? Of course, people need schools, but find a way to at least accommodate where is children going to play.
Yes. Yeah. And the same thing happened in Maho.
Yeah.
In Tisa playing field, where we already had a school there. The playing field was up to standards, and they rebuilt the school, and the school took up some part of the playing field.
No planning, lack of planning.
Much in sports at all.
We have a call on the line. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sam, Sibo, the gang, Lander, and Mr. Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I'm calling a kind of emotional thing. So it's VIP for a second. Today, one of my captains was laid to rest. I've been his friend for almost 30 40 years.
You're talking about Irvin, right?
I talk, huh?
Oh, you're talking about Irvin Augustine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was captain from grammar school
Okay.
to Grammar Calavice, and Mr. Low Black was our coach at that time for Grammar Calavice. So, and then Dominica football team. And it was sad. I spoke to him about a month or 2 months ago. I knew he wasn't doing well, but it was shocking last week when I heard that, because Irvin and I have it cool. And one of the reasons I call this program because he's an avid listener of your program.
True.
So I know if he was if he'll be listening to it today. So I want to just say on behalf of all the players of Grammar School, like Irvin Captain, Kalakais, and Dominica, Clint Roberts, Roddy Deja, Glenn Etienne, the whole gang, and even Simeon Joseph, who is a player, but he's a good friend, and Claude Ricks. I want to really extend my deepest condolences to the family from all of us, because I don't want to call people names, too many guys to call, but I know he's close friends. Irvin Guy, that was a real close friend, so I know it's a sad act. I was watching it live, as a matter of fact, on Emo News, so it was very touching. So I just want to say that to his family. Keep the strength. We love you. Stay cool. Thank you very much for that opportunity.
Okay, bro. Okay. Yeah. Sad occasion, really. Well, we've just been joined by the King. We have another caller. Yeah. Good evening.
Gentlemen, how you all doing?
Good evening, lady. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Good evening, Auntie Rome. Sibo,
Yes.
you have a ministry, a cabinet, according to the lady from, what do you call him up there? Granby said. A cabinet of 26 people. Sibo, can you tell me how many of these people there ever played sports or which team? Where?
Well, I know Oscar George played. That I can tell you.
That's the only one I understood.
Yeah.
He played cricket.
Yes.
And all the rest haven't played a good game of marble. So what do you expect according to when you sloop your wrong pegs in square holes? That is all I'm
Square
going
peg in
on
wrong holes.
Yes. Imran Khan and his wife serving a 14 years jail sentence.
Yeah, well, I saw that today, and it's just before an election. Election is next week, and they put them in jail.
Will we have to see something, so?
Well, you never know. If
Talk
anything
to you
goes in
later.
Dominica,
Bye-bye.
anything goes in Dominica in this place. Well, yes, Ronald, we've just been joined by the King Bob himself. King Dai should have been here. We haven't seen him, but Daryl Bob has his second song. Not the full song. It's not really ready, but I guess he'll give listeners a little taste of what to expect next Saturday night. So, Mr. Bob, good evening. Welcome to Sports Rap.
Thank you again. Thank you. It's always a
pleasure. Low Black is there as well.
Hi, Lobby. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing super. I do not like anything half.
When you're looking good. You wear
as usual. Bob, I like everything full. I don't like anything half.
You don't like anything half? Okay.
No.
That's why you leave Dominica.
Yeah. Everything is half.
So Daryl, tell us now. You have a little thing for us.
Before Daryl comes on, I understand interestingly, last night, Minister Vince Henderson was on the stage singing Calypso.
Yeah, well, in fact, as you talk about that, when I heard a DBS staffer was singing about Dice's song about things so hard in Dominica, I say, wow, that staffer might end up in problems with the management of DBS. You were saying how it's difficult to survive in Dominica at the stand-up tent last night. That a staff member of DBS was singing that song. So I say, wow, I hope he doesn't get himself in trouble.
Our Prime Minister was on the World Creole Music Festival stage.
Was singing too? Oh, yeah.
A Nasty Business band. And I understood. I didn't hear him last night. I didn't hear what he sang last night.
Oh, he did French out there?
No. Vincent,
you were singing about Point Michelle Girl. Remember, it was the Lord Bingo who sang that, eh? Yeah. It was the Lord Bingo who sang Point Michelle Girls have the face sweet in their waist. Moving time, man. Sweet body line. Give me Point Michelle Girls all the time.
Give me my girls all the time.
Okay, let's go, Daryl.
We set it up.
Yeah, Daryl going to give listeners a little taste. We have another caller. Let's take the caller. Girls. Good evening, caller. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Sibo.
Yes.
So as you said, the minister was on stage last night.
Right.
Listen, are they going to respond to Mighty D come in the ring next year?
Well, but they should because D was saying about he's saying to about fucking some of them he's talking to Mighty D. Nice song, a nice laugh, way, nice beat, lobby. I saw you dancing to it. I
But
saw you dancing.
music,
All the
I
lights
love
are
it.
going. We have a number of callers there. All the lights are going. Yeah, let's take this caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Sibo.
Hi, how are you, man?
Okay, good evening, lady. That's the Jennifer.
I
And
know.
Ronald and the
Hey,
Ethiopia.
And
good
the
to hear your voice.
Yes,
Lufa.
good night, Sir Lufa. How are you?
I just want to say I was unable to go to church funeral because I myself suffering from arthritis.
Okay.
But church was one of my students at the old Rosa Boys School. As a matter of fact, I taught all the boys for church at the boys' school. So I want to sympathize with this parents. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
No problem, Sir Lufa. No problem. Yes, Daryl Bob will soon be ready to launch his second song. As I said, this is an interactive program. We talk about everything on this program: sports, music, the latest news, everything on this program. Another
Sibo.
caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Sibo, what's happening? What's happening,
How are you, man? How are you? What's up?
Landa
Good night.
and my other partner over there.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm good to hear your voice.
I cool. Yeah, I cool. But all you don't, Sibo,
Yes.
all you don't need man to sing his father's song then.
Who's that?
Who was the kid?
Oh,
Who
you
was the
mean,
kid
oh,
singing?
the Minister Paul Michelle Girls, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well.
being good at his father, you know.
I know that. Yeah. In those days, in fact, did he win the road match with that in the days? That
Yeah.
song?
Ye-
He won the
Yes,
road
he
match?
did.
I mean, it was in time of people like Breaker, right? Breaker would
Yeah,
have won the
yeah,
king.
Being good at his father.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, he was on stage singing.
What is Bingo's surname?
Henderson. You remember Bernard Henderson, his brother, that
Yeah.
played cricket as well? In fact, Bernard played under 19 with me, his brother. So Henderson was Bingo's surname. Can't remember his first name, but you know he sang with Gaylord. You still there, caller? He's gone. He sang with Gaylord Lobby, you remember?
But Siba,
Bingo.
that's my. I know that. I know
Mhm.
that. I was at the show, I was at the Calypso show, Sebastian.
People like Sparks, the mighty Spark took part in those days as well.
Of course. I'm in there. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
but-
Windsor Park. Carnival City was in the Windsor Park, so that was like my backyard.
Mhm.
In those days. And you see, but one thing about Calypso before, if those songs was sung, it was Lapo Cabuit and Steel Band.
Mhm,
And people sang those things lustily.
mhm, mhm. We have
In those
another
days.
caller. Let's take the caller before we get to Daryl Bob. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, Sibo,
Yes, sir.
you know Mr. Henderson that are driving the crane on the port.
Yes, of course. Yes,
Well,
yes.
it's Lord Bingo father, you know.
Oh, that was Bingo's father. Okay.
Yes, the whole set of
So live in
brother,
Kenfield, right?
Yes,
He was
And
Bingo's
Vincent-
father or brother?
yes, but Vincent is from Pottersville, you know.
Mhm.
The mother is originally from St. Joseph,
Okay.
but then they come and live Pottersville
Okay.
at the time. Is when the father was a man from St. Joseph, his grandfather was a man from the called him Court Oscar.
Mhm.
He had saying and so on, and the fisherman used to travel and go all about.
Okay.
So then he was living in Pottersville, just by in a little house, just by Willie Liebler, between Willie Liebler there.
Okay.
So that's where he was.
Okay. Thanks for that
So we,
little history. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks, caller. Thank you. Right, we have Daryl Bob, who is with us, the King Bob, who's going to give us. We don't want to listen to the song, his second song. So, listeners out there, can you listen? Come on, let's get it going, DJ.
Oh, Father, wash me, Father. Father, remember the church in its heyday when most Dominicans were Catholic. Whenever The members went astray. We would reset with a church retreat. This time we've strayed dangerously, but politically we've gone so far. Of course, great minds have been lost, and the church has lost all its power. If we ever needed a retreat, it's now or never. Now we need a retreat. Bigger than Catholic, bigger than politics, no soul left behind. We need a retreat. One nationalistic, moving with the spirit, country salvation time. Peace we have to come together if we dare to embrace truth. I guarantee in the immediate future, Dominica will start to prosper, and even the cathedral will get a new roof. Oh, Father. A retreat. Bigger than Catholic, bigger than politics, no soul left behind. We need a retreat. One nationalistic, moving with the spirit, country salvation time. If we dare to come together, if we dare to include truth, I guarantee in the immediate future, Pastor Rodney will bless it, even will preach on the pulpit. Oh, Father.
All right, guys, we just heard the Bob Runner. Lobby, you're a Catholic man. You heard Daryl Bob talking about Catholic, right?
Well,
You saw?
I am.
Look,
Well, I
you
think
don't hear
so.
Lobby.
Huh?
What did you say, Look? What did you say? You heard
Yes,
the song,
I am.
right?
But I am hoping that this song can be released quickly.
Well,
It can be,
final is next
quickly.
week, Saturday, so they have to be released either tomorrow or by early next week. In fact, King Dice was supposed to have been there as well, but
Yeah,
maybe his phone is not ready.
because this thing of holding back, sometimes you don't know. You see, it's all depends on the band. That nothing happens on the night. And you see people like Bob. People like Bob. Bob is a singer, first of
Well,
all.
he's a
He's
musician.
singer.
He's a musician as well.
No. Beside a musician, he's a versatile singer. So he can handle himself on stage, whatever goes wrong.
Well, Lobby, let's hear from Bob. What led him to
Yeah.
write a song like that? Bob, tell us, tell the listeners.
Well, as I tell you, Calypso for me, since I began, I have not run the road without Pat Aaron.
Okay.
So anytime you see me, even for the last 20 years, I have been in the game. I have been with the spirit of Pat Aaron.
Good.
Right?
Good.
And whether he's not inside the studio with me, he's always with me. So basically, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it shows you that Dominica needs blessings, Dominica needs washing.
Oh, definitely.
So a lot of all our sectors, all our different areas, in Dominica, be it sports, everything needs to be addressed from a spiritual standpoint, from a spiritual position.
Attitude.
And that is what really drives me to present that song to the people.
The arrangement, a lot of musical arrangement. You are the musician. Were you the person who really got involved in the musical arrangement?
Yes, absolutely. All my songs, basically, I do all the music. All my songs in the last 20, no, not 20, but maybe 10 to 15 years, I have been doing the music for them. So Pat Aaron would conceptualize everything, come up with the lyrics, and we'd work together.
Okay.
And then I'll put music to it, basically just build it from there. So that is my blessing, and it's a bow and arrow type of thing that's going on.
Well, somebody, a caller probably wants to ask you a question. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again. Bob singing good. We also need a new bishop, Bob. Maybe Sibo can help you understood every Sunday. Sibo in church and Salisbury. Sibo, as somebody pay you let them every Sunday. Sibo in church.
I always go to church, Blue. From 10 miles a little boy. I'm always in church.
Yeah.
Joseph got a heroic welcome.
Yeah, I know that. I saw the video. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. We have another caller. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hello, darling. How are you?
All right. Pat, you sounding good.
Bob, you
you sounding good.
Thank you.
And anytime you have Pat in your corner, we're getting good things.
Yes,
Pat can give you to sing Jack and Jill on a hill. he can give that to Dice and Bob, and they will sing. You understand what I'm saying?
Or Mary had
so
a little
anytime you have Pat Aaron with you, good thing come. No matter what they say, he's the greatest, he's the best. Good evening.
Thank you, Lana.
Ronald, you want to ask
Yes.
Carolyn a question?
No. What I want to support a statement made by Lobby that we need to release those songs a little earlier,
I totally
so
agree.
you can appreciate those songs, you can
True.
listen to them, internalize the lyrics, understand the song. Because when you hear a song for the first time, it's very difficult to appreciate it.
True.
It has to be a very, very simple song. And I can see that song has depth in it. And I would advise that at earliest opportunity you can release it, I would want you to go that way.
But that is for the public generally, and I agree with the fact that people need to soak in the songs. But a judge has no excuse. A judge is supposed to hear a song for the first time on the night and deliver with integrity, and that I am not shifting on that.
But
Yeah. That we enjoyed that in the 80s.
Yes, I contend
And
with that
that's
because
still
a good calypso has a lot of different meanings, a lot of areas where you are saying different things.
But that is
in
the
different
challenge
ways.
the judge has.
But
He has to.
do we have judges up to that level, my brother?
After all these years,
Not too sure. Because
after all these
you
years,
hear some good deep songs, Drumstick, PM for King, Panty-Man, and those songs were just put aside.
But the head
And you
people,
know-
who's this lady that was singing about
Second chance.
I and
But
why?
that's I love that calypso.
Yeah,
That's a great
and the
song.
way she said it, I,
depth of
that
why?
song.
What's her name? Who's that lady?
mystery.
Mystery.
Mystery. Yeah, the way she
Mystery.
said she was talking about the Rosa River and she wants somebody.
No,
I don't all sorts of things in that song. But the way she said, I want somebody to tell me, make me say,
Letters of the
I,
alphabet.
or why,
No,
or whatever it is like. Whoever
No,
is.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
Sibo.
Yes.
So, first of all, the letters of the alphabet.
Oh, that's the name of the
That's
song?
the thing about.
Oh,
And to conceptualize that into calypso.
okay.
All right? If it was a guy from Trinidad singing that song, would have been very happy, Dominica. But because, who is she? What you singing?
Oh,
That's
that's
how we
the
are.
lady
But
that's
it's a
singing that,
beautiful
okay.
song.
Oh, that's
It
not the
has
same
good-
lady that was singing about Cocoa Stick or
Cocoa
whatever.
Yes.
Oh, so she has
Yes,
a
yes, sir.
kind of
Right.
lyrics.
Everybody
really.
choose their,
Hmm.
the angle they want to.
Okay.
present
okay.
it.
But-
Bobby's a high quality artist, and I expect the best from him.
You see, the important thing
yeah.
to me, Ronnie, I think a Calypsonian must be remain. He must know what a Calypsonian really is, what it is. You understand? You don't just come in the ring and want to sing. You have to choose. Are you going to be a voice of the people? Are you going to be true to that? You cannot just come in there and just singing for singing's sake. So I made the decision I'm going to be true to Calypso. Calypso is the people's thing, to address the people's issues. And I'm not going to make any deal that's going to compromise that. So that's just it. I think Dice has made the same decision in his life. So we are self-employed. We on our hustle. We do our thing. When it's Calypso season, we remain true to Calypso. Unlike many other people who have fallen along the way. In a nice way, I would like to say. So you understand where I'm coming
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's take another
But it's-
call.
I have
Yes,
one
go
more
ahead.
question. I want to pose that question to Bob.
All right, he's right there. Go ahead.
He's on the Calypso Association. Bob, we always have a problem in the judging. I mean, nobody perfect. But you have always said the people that are judging, they should have they should know about music. You have to have a hang of the English language. You understand what I'm saying? You have to know when a Calypsonian is singing, you have to listen. You have to understand what they are saying.
And you have to know
So
when they're singing off key too.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're
so I
like, I don't
agree.
know what training you're doing for them. I'm just asking.
Well,
Just now, the judges need to be trained. I can never forget, remember the year when Sandy Loves That Gong singing Sandy?
yes.
When she sang about black and comely, I don't know if they didn't understand the meaning of comely. That year she was supposed to be the queen or the king, or you put it.
She
You
earned that show.
understand?
She earned
So
that
we
show.
need the problem. The judges will not be perfect. All of us, none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
But at least you giving a judge giving one person 5 put for any put. Another one giving you 15. You understand? After they put their points together, do they come together with the chief judge to say whether I give a Calypsonian 5?
Yes, that happens.
You give that Calypsonian 15. How you arrive at 15
Yeah.
and I have 5? You understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's the very reason why at the end of a competition, people find the results come out, so long after. So that is because the judges and them, they get time to discuss and to make things make sense as to whether it ends up being that way in reality. But there's the effort made anyway. And another thing I would like to let you know is that the Calypso Association, every year, we have an open door for everybody who wants to come in to the judges training and to be a judge, be part of the judges pool. And nobody, well, very few people take interest in that. And that's the thing. So we end up with the same people all the time. Training for them, it would mean turning the people we have there into musicians. People have to develop themselves too. If you want to be in Calypso, you want to contribute and stuff. You have to
Music.
take part in
No
some
music. Listen to music.
You're right. You have to really take it, seriously, and the Calypso Association cannot do everything for you because you can bring the horse to the water and we know the rest of their ditch.
But one last thing I want to say, if you cannot judge a Calypso show or you don't know about, stay away. Bye-bye.
But gentlemen, I was just something
Well,
about
straight to the point. Go ahead,
I love her.
Lomi.
I love her.
yes. No, while you're on the judging, I said early on, I was the last weekend. I was really mystified because there you have JD play second at the quarterfinal. I listened to the song. I watched everything. I can't understand how he's not in the final.
I'm amazed by that too.
What when I can't understand.
Whether he
what
should
second,
be in the finals or not, I'm just amazed at the fact that somebody plays second in the quarterfinals,
Final.
and they were not so bad in the semifinals as if he
But the man
he fumbled
no,
words
but
or
I
anything.
watched the whole thing.
That's
To
pretty
me,
much
he
the same
performed
show.
better at
Yeah.
the semi-final than the quarter-final.
Yeah, so
I
it's
just
not
can't. I
Jamie, it's really
just
the
can't at
judges.
all.
Yeah, why are they so inconsistent? The same thing for what's his name, Mighty D.
Yes.
Let's take his caller, more caller, Lomi. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Bob, good evening.
Good evening, my dear.
Good song.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Dicey is not there?
No, he was supposed to have joined us, but with the circumstances, so he's not here.
Oh,
tonight.
okay. And then let me say now, I am not afraid. I am just like Bob, I'm on my own. There are some people there are certain two people I realize they should not be in the final. I don't know, because of name they are there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Lucille. I think we have another call. All the lights are going, Lomi. Hold on. Yeah. Good evening. Another for Bob. Good night.
Hey, good evening, Sibo. Bob.
Yes, sir.
I have a comment, a suggestion. I think it's time that the Calypso Association think of including diaspora judges. In 2004, even though we're not in Dominica, for me myself, I listen, I judge, I have my own little book, I judge. I think it's time to include a few diaspora judges. If we could try it 1 year, see how it happens, I believe that will take Calypso to another level because a lot of the support come out here of diaspora. It's time to get us involved.
Stay on the line. I want to engage
Calypso.
you.
Yes.
You there?
Yes.
On one
Yes,
condition,
I'm there.
that you come home to judge, because the diaspora comes home to vote.
Yes. Cool.
Right? We haven't lost the person.
Bob,
Yeah.
you don't know. Bob, you don't know. I want to go there, but I'm not interested in voting. But I believe it's time we
Come
have
home and
to maybe
serve, man. Come home to
consider
serve. Come home to serve. Come home, even if you have to bat in your crease, but come home.
I have a point there
I'm
for
always
Bob.
home. I always
Hold
home.
on, Lomi.
I'm
Call us
always home. I'm not one of the guys that talk I'm not one of the guys
Nice.
that talk and don't come home.
Wonderful.
But I do come home, and I really feel in your next general meeting, put the idea out there. Put the idea out there. Just
It came
to
up already.
involve a little diaspora, George.
All right. It came up already, but it's something
I
that's
think
worth
it's
discussing.
Calypso.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller.
Right.
Thank you.
Good night.
We have another caller. Let's take the caller because all the lights are going. Good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening, Louis.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All the others on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I have a suggestion.
Mhm.
I listen to the calypsos between the men and the women. I am suggesting as a woman so that the women can go on their own to have a competition, women against women.
But that issue that years ago we had the women's
Somebody else
competition.
said that to me this season,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of don't know how to respond to that. But Ronald gave a negative when his face went that way and left and right. So Ronald,
What I think is a quality competition. If the ladies up to a standard, the men up to a certain standard, everybody get in the ring. Everybody batting their crease and score their runs.
I agree with you.
Next caller. Good evening.
Play this song again, please.
No, what he's going to do an acapella. Darryl, give us an acapella. Man.
you
Come on.
ready?
Yes, man. Let's go.
We used to trust in the Creator. Now we created a dictator. We never feared politicians before. Now we cannot step out of color. There's no justice anymore. Family no longer matter. I am concerned for the next generation with this divided house. Is there any redress? On what grounds will our children be able to stand? No, we need a retreat. Bigger than Catholic, bigger than politics, no soul left behind. We need a retreat. One nationalistic, moving with a spirit, country salvation time. If we dare to come together, if we dare to embrace truth, all good forces, all patriots, even from the diaspora, my partner, even the Rasta man, he too will be there.
Well, I'm sure the lady heard you. She was asking Darryl, somebody asking a question.
Yes.
Why isn't Desmond Doblin not a judge? After he judged Calypso competition for so many years, they chose to leave him out. Is it because the person choosing the judges is a supporter of the cabal? That's somebody that's
I wouldn't say that. The judges are not selected by one person. The judges it goes in a sort of how you call it? It's very democratic.
A hat and the
Yeah. It's a kind of a we used to say that bingo.
Yeah.
So it's not any one person, and maybe Desmond Doblin needs to maybe come a little closer to the pool when there are trainings and so on, and get himself back.
Caller, you got your answer? We have another caller.
I'll tell you, Bob, the a cappella was sung in 100% nicer than the tape.
Well, the test is only thing. You'll get the real thing
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
I mean,
I just
That's
wanted
a
you
dub,
to
that's
feel
a-
the
that's a
rhythm
dub,
of this
a dub.
song, but the acapella, yeah.
And
A
in
demo.
Trinidad, when there's the big calypso competition, women and men, everybody participated.
Yeah.
Who win, who lose.
Yeah.
okay, thank you,
Question.
Darryl. We have to wind up now because we have a long night
yes.
tonight.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
one thing
what
for
we'll
Bob.
do- we-
One.
Hold on, Lobby, because we have time. We're short of time tonight.
Yes.
Darryl, where are you all tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, the camp will be in Soufriere.
Tomorrow
We're going
night.
back to the village of Soufriere. It was so good the first time we had to do it twice. And then on Saturday, we're on the port.
Both tents.
Yes. We have the clash of the tents on the port. With
Tell listener what you're
Stardom and Mass Camp will be on the port. Right there,
In
you don't have
the
to go
car park, right?
in the car park on the highway, right there. You can't miss it. So just
So
come
you'll
check
put
us out.
these containers and then you have
Right,
the stage and everything.
At a very affordable price. So come and enjoy nice calypso by the roadside.
Okay, well, I know my
With swinging
Ronald's
stars back.
person, Vivian Ronnie, my good friend. I know he'll be there. He'll come and support you guys. He'll be there, Ronald. You know.
I want to commend Mass Camp this year for taking the initiative to bring the calypso to the old districts.
Thank
It's
you.
a powerful initiative.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking of ways where for the village feast, how we can get the calypso continuing to develop in the old districts.
Right.
You know, also there is something is a little difficult to deal with, but the Calypsonians in Stardom has an unfair advantage over the Calypsonians in Mass Camp. Because every time you perform in Stardom, you're doing a dress rehearsal.
Because you practice in the band all the time.
Yeah, because the exceptional people like you and
Dice,
Dice and
Dice,
so on,
yeah.
you know.
Checo.
Well, Checo had a problem. I know why they left Checo out. And
when we heard that, he rehearsed with some people and they back out at the last moment. We hearing all sorts of stuff that the girls who rehearsed with him, the night of the show, they back out, obviously, because of influence of other people we don't know. So they didn't constage the Kalinago girls.
That's a question asking there for Bob.
That quickly, we have to wind
Yes,
up.
Bob.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm looking at Trailer B with his beat, with the Booyah beat. Huh?
Trilogy, yes.
Yes, with that beat now. How are you looking at that now in Calypso?
Yeah. Well. I don't put water in my mouth. I love the guy. I love his work. I love what he's doing. I even love the song too.
Yes.
But if I was a Calypso defending Monarch, I would be required to defend with a Calypso.
Agree.
And I will stop
it.
Yeah.
Agree. I totally agree with you. Because you see, it's a Calypso competition. It's a Calypso. I don't want to criticize anybody, but we want to hear. It's like people talk about that. That song is a Calypso. Daryl Bonks was a Liberator. That's a Calypso.
Yes, yeah.
These are Calypsos.
Yeah.
Because, Sebastian, I was saying that come next year, what about next year? And other Calypsonians now, you may have 6-7 guys end up doing that now. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen when the precedence is set?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Daryl, thank you very much.
Thank you so
we
much,
hope
guys.
to hear the real version of the song
Yes.
sometime soon.
By the weekend.
Both you and the King Dice.
Yes, sir.
So, and obviously, we'll probably have both of you all after the finals, 1 and 2, whichever way it goes, 1 and 2 on the night of the final.
All right. Blessing.
Thank you, my brother. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll take a break now and then we'll get in touch with the Salisbury People Committee who will tell us about their football league and whatever. Yeah, we'll take our first ad break now.
Lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Showdown Math Camp presents night number 12 this Friday, February 2nd, 2024, with the return to the Iron Monkey Bar in Soufriere from 8:30 p.m. Soulful, Triumph, Lady V, Pick Lock, Lulu, Big C, Trinity, Lady S, Prince of Peace, Oracle, Mask Eruption, King Bob! There's some tax that feels to stop the government. Over the boundary, but Taco! No problem. King Dive the North! I'm a one sitting. The Showdown Mass Camp this Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at the Iron Monkey Bar. Only $20 gets you in. Our sponsors, EMS, ESA Trading, DNO Flow, Faith Restaurant Bar and Grill, Bright Start Early Childcare and Preschool, Do It Center, KFC, Singwalla Blomquist Williams, Comsty TV Q95 and Sports Rap on Q95. Showdown Mass Camp. Galion, Kashaku Epi Soufriere, Mass Camp Kaviwe. Pote Kayou, Iron Monkey Bar and Soufriere, Hot Wheat Demi. See you there. Showdown Mass Camp Friday night.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Sports Wrap, your dynamic, riveting.
Listen, I'm not hearing. Yeah, we're back on. Yes, good evening. We're back, and I think we have with us the Mr. Smith, who is a member of the Salisbury Sports Committee. Good night, sir.
Good night, good night.
Yes,
Good night.
together with me, we have Ronald Lander, that's Emmanuel Loblack, Lamberchak. Tell us, sir, what position do you hold on the Salisbury Sports Committee?
Well, the youth representative on the Salisbury Sports Committee, and I'm also one of the executive members for the Barry Footballing Subcommittee.
Well, tell us about the committee. Tell us about your committee. We want to know. And I'm sure Salisbury people are listening to you. They want to know what you guys are doing. Tell us about the committee.
Okay, the Salisbury Sports Committee was formed in 2021 through the Ministry of Sports, which wanted to revitalize sports committees around the country. So this will form in 2021. We have our most hardworking and dedicated chairman, Shinahari, Miss Shinahari, and our deputy, Mr. Jamie John Mactis. We also have our executive members. And we organize and manage sports in Salisbury. So I don't know if you have heard about the Barry Road Race.
No, I have not. Tell us. That's why you're on. Tell us about it.
So the Barry Road Race is one of the most popular upcoming race. You normally have it over the summer, where different runners from around the country it is from Kulibishri by church, and it goes through on the highway up to the village and to the playing field, right? And there's prizes to be won for different categories. We also have the fathers versus non-fathers cricket match.
When will that be?
That will be on Father's Day.
Okay.
So for the past 3 years, we have held it on the playing field, and so far the fathers have been winning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the fathers. So hopefully non-fathers will take the championship this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We also have other activities such as we had volleyball by the beach, we had basketball, we also had dominoes, we also had football on the beach, and etc. etc.
So how do you all raise funds, the committee, to do your business?
Well, we have sponsors. First and foremost, we have our committee sponsors. We'll talk about them later in the interview. We also raise funds by doing some activities, fundraising activities on the field during our sporting activities, etc.
But you talk about the football league. Is it going on? Is it ongoing now?
Yes, it is ongoing. We're actually going to week 3 this weekend.
So how many teams you have? How many teams you are taking part in that league?
We have 7 teams. So we have Collier FC, obviously from Collier.
Yeah.
We have Barry Young Ballers from Salisbury. We have Derby Boys FC, that's a newcomer from Roseau. We have Multi-Talented FC from Kulibishri, and we also have another team from Kulibishri, which is Golly Bob FC, also from Kulibishri. We have the Great FC, that's from Roseau catchment area, and we also have the Great FC, and that's from the Jimmy area.
So what days do you all play? What days are the matches?
So weekends. Saturday, we have 1 game on Saturday from 2 p.m. And on Sundays, we have 2 games. That's from the first game starts at 2 and the other game starts at 4 p.m.
So the field, you all have developed the field, because I know that field was a little compromised because of all sorts of stuff
Well,
going on. Hmm.
it's still in development. We have tried a couple stuff on it, but it's still in development. Like it still needs a lot of work. So if anybody would like to sponsor, I'll take the opportunity for anybody to sponsor, the assistance on playing field, I'll be greatly appreciated.
Before Ronald and Lobe ask your question, you said anybody, have the government, have you all gone to the sport or the PAL rep, spoken to your PAL rep to ask if she can intervene and help the government to assist you all in playing field?
Well, the Ministry of Sport is aware of the situation. I cannot speak on behalf of the ministry and the government about the field. So I know that they know about the situation in the field already. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, youngster. Because of my training, I have a bias towards development planning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all have a plan, at least for the next 3 years, the next 5 years, which would include the playing field, the quality of playing field, and you could present that plan to the government, the Ministry of Sport, or sponsor? Have you been able to develop that plan?
Yes, that's on the cards. That's on the cards.
You intend to develop that?
Yes.
Because it's very, very important if you can develop a plan for sporting development in Salisbury, the different sports you intend to work with over a period of time. You can then present that plan to other persons, to sponsors, and to also the government to see how you could improve on your playing area. Because recently I heard a release where government is planning to light up 8 playing fields. So if you have your plan in place, you can go forward and get them to light up and upgrade your playing field.
Yes.
So consider that very seriously. Who in your community, who you can join in your community to assist you in developing that sports development plan for Salisbury.
Lobe, you had a question, right?
Yes, a question is this. The one Landa spoke about the plan, and you said about lighting playing fields. We have to seeing that, we are prone to storms, heavy winds. We have to look presently what we are utilizing now, the poles we are utilizing, whether they are strong enough, or whether we think we may have to install concrete for the future. But the question I have to ask this gentleman about the football. Are you all playing 11-a-side or 9-a-side or 8-a-side?
We are playing 8-a-side, so we have 7 outfield players and 1 keeper due to the size of the field.
Duration of the game?
Duration of the game, 45 minutes.
Okay.
90 minutes.
Okay, quickly tell us about your sponsors before we close up, because we have other people we have to contact. About your sponsors, you promised to mention your sponsors.
Okay, so without our sponsors, the Barry Football League 2.0 will not be a successful one. So we like to first and foremost thank our main sponsor and also organization or financial institution from the community of Salisbury, which is the West Coast Cooperative Credit Union. We want to pick them up. They are one of the major sponsors, and they are the major sponsor or the main sponsor for the Barry Road Race 2024. Sorry. So we would like to pick them up. We also have Dominica Football Association, which is always there to assist. We also have the Signman. We also have the Dominica Olympic Committee, Domlec, True Harmony Massages. The owner is actually from Salisbury. We also have Q95, Dominica Sports, the major sports through the Dominica Sports Division. We also specifically want to thank Mr. Odin. Dominica Red Cross. Dominica Red Cross actually trained me to be the league medic. We also have Wayne George, Shane Marshall, Mr. Jamie John Baptiste, Astor Fund, and James Rodney. So these are the sponsors we have so far. We encourage more sponsors to come on board. Yeah. Before we end, I also want to thank our ground staff because we have to keep the field in good order for the games. So I'd like to thank Anderson, Mickelson, and the other fellows that assist in keeping the field in good shape and good playing condition.
Okay, Mr. Smith, quickly, go on.
Lastly, I also want to encourage the community of Salisbury to be more involved in the Barry Football League. For example, a lot of the fellas, when they come and play and then after the game is finished, they're asking for something to eat, like they want a hot dog or some chicken and fries, and they have to tell them, boy, that's not available. Or the children also want ice cream and there's no ice cream available. So I would like the community to be more involved.
You want to have some vendors. You want some vendors.
More vendors, right?
You want more vendors around.
Right, because it's a win-win situation. They're benefiting, and it's all the sports community benefiting.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Smith. We'll be in touch with you again, Miss Harry. I suppose because she wanted to expose you. She said you're a young guy, so she wanted somebody else to be heard. And it was nice hearing from you. So you feel free anytime to contact me, and you all can come on the program. Thank you very much.
Yes, no problem.
Right, Ronald. I'm sure you're happy that you have young guys. Thank you, sir.
That's very good. And what I want to say to other areas in Dominica where you've got sporting activities. Wherever you have sporting activities, feel free to contact us at SportsWrap so we can give you the optimal exposure. We've exposed what's happening in Salisbury, with Newtown. Next week, we're going to be talking about something in Maho. So wherever you have sporting activities, feel free to contact us at Q95 SportsWrap so we can give you the necessary exposure.
Yes, Leonard, we now going to get in touch with Kazimi, who the Newtown Football League, it was completed last week. Were you at the game, Ronald? Yeah?
I've passed through and looked at some of the games, but I was not at the finals.
Okay. I think that's Soufriere team 1, right? Team from Soufriere? Yeah. Okay, we have with us Mr. Kazimi, Sheldon Kazimi, who I think is the lead man in the Newtown Football League. Good night, sir.
Good night. How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing good in studio.
Well, Ronald is there, as you know, Lobby is there, everybody's, we're all here. Well, Sheldon, your league was completed last week. Tell us who won. People want to know who won and who got the prizes at your prize giving.
Yeah, actually, the final match was a super matchup between the Soufriere Outdoor Center Soufriere Tremors and Baffin State, and it was a battle all the way to the end. Soufriere Outdoor Tremors outmatched Baffin State in the last stages of overtime to win the game 3-2, and Soufriere Outdoor Tremors the victors of the HFL for this 2023-24 season.
Yes. Go on, tell us, people listen to you, the man, you to tell us. Go on.
Yeah. Also, in terms of all the other prizes, the HFL league is not completed. Although we have had the finals, we still have this weekend a showcase of exhibition games. Our long-awaited veterans game, we had to postpone it last week Friday because of the heavy rains that was happening. So this will happen on Friday this week with the veterans game, and on Saturday we are culminating the league with a youth game under 17 between the NGFA Harlem squad versus the Goodwill Runners, and then we'll have a playoff game between the All-Stars of Zone A versus the All-Stars of Zone B to bring the league to a close. And at the end of that game, we will be dishing out the different prizes in the different categories for outstanding players and best teams and whatever the other prizes that we have to give to patrons and so on.
So we expect to see people like Zai Emmanuel on Friday night. Will we see him?
No. One thing you've been calling Zadie, man.
Yes, sir. I hope he turns up sharp to play.
You really call it Zadie.
I want to watch Zai in action. I want to see
Yeah.
Zai in action.
But that's close to Carnival. That's too close to Carnival.
I really have to.
Well, you know, Zai, well, he'll be practicing for his carnival. You know, Zai is a carnival man, right?
Yeah.
That's
Avoid
all I do
injuries.
practice for him. For Zai.
Avoid injuries.
Yeah, I really have to look into putting on what we would have to call the Masters.
Yeah, man, because Job Foster is here. Vivian Rene is in Dominica now. I saw Spraggs today. All these guys are wrong, man. Bring
Yeah,
in
we have to try and pull off a Masters, you know, and I'd like to maybe get you guys assistance in rallying the troops. So it could maybe be Ronald team versus Sibo team, you know. And then we'll just choose the masters from all over and bring them on the metaverse to do it in grand style.
Caso, I would like you to inform Sports Rap of any young talent that we expect to see for the future coming out of the Newtown Football League.
Yeah, I saw quite a few young players express some talent. Last week I spoke about Angel Bellot. There was a young boy named Ajani Richards. Ajani Richards, also from Newtown. We have a player.
What position does he play? What position does he play?
Excuse me?
What position does he play?
Position.
Ajani was playing on the right wing, and Yvetson plays on the left wing. Dangerous young people, man, on the field, man, in terms of the explosiveness that we've been seeing. Yeah, we want to encourage a lot more of the younger ones to step up and show themselves, you know. So yeah, I really want to commend those there. Those there in particular really stood out to me. There might be others that others was looking at, but in terms of me watching the games, like these were some of the young boys that I really saw taking the stage, you know.
Yes, because in cricket, we are seeing the emergence of some young stars fast for the future. Afanaz, Hodge, Pascal. And I would like to see the same thing happening in football. We know we have our restrictions, we have our limitations, but if we can get one or two players to excel and to get out there playing professional football and projecting the name of Dominica, these are some of the things we'd like to see happening.
Yeah, for sure. And as I was telling a friend in a conversation on Facebook the other day, when the topic of the cricket came up, the cricket is just a microcosm of the macro that we want to see in real life. So at the end of the day, when the generations that have been holding the guard not makes way for youth, I feel that is a point of explosion. Like we really see when the youth who are been putting in the work, working and in terms of trying to develop their craft and putting in that 1,000 hours, so to speak, to get to the point of handling their craft in a certain level of proficiency, then when we as the gatekeepers open the gates for them, then we can only see beautiful things to come. So I want them to watch the cricket, and people in society on the whole to match the cricket in what they do in their everyday life. Give the youth, give the young generation a chance to be all that they can be in terms of their whatever field that they want to endeavor in.
Okay, Sheldon, we have to figure out because we expecting to join Red Spear and Andrew Mason in a while. So we will contact you again next week. You say you have football this weekend, and we'll contact you all next week, Thursday. So you'll tell us what happened this weekend. Okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll basically give you the rundown of all who received prizes and the different prizes that were meted out. Hopefully by the end of this weekend, everything should be done, and with God's grace and health and strength. Thank you guys for having us again.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
We want to big you all up again in a big way because you're one of the few stations that have given us the support during the carrying of the HFL. And the media that will give us the support, we want to always give them the commendations.
Anytime, man. Thank you. Okay, let's take a break now, guys, so we can contact this gentleman.
Showdown Mascan presents night number 12 this Friday, February 2nd, 2024, with the return to the Iron Monkey Bar in Soufriere from 8:30 p.m. Come and hear Soul Boost, Triumph, Lady V, Picklock, Lulu, Big C, Trinity, Lady S, Prince of Peace, Oracle, Mask Eruption, King Bob! There's some time that I feel to slap the government. Over the bumpy but Taco! No guys and more! The Showdown Mascam this Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at the Iron Monkey Bar. Only $20 gets you in. Our sponsors, EMS, Start Trading, DNO Flow, Restaurant Bar Grill, Bright Star Early Childcare and Preschool, Do It Center, KFC, Singwalla, Bloomquist Williams, Pumsy TV Q95 and Sports Rap on Q95. Showdown Mascam. Galion, Kashaku epi Soufriere, Maskam Kaviwe, Potekayo, Iron Monkey Bar en Soufriere, Hot Wheathead Demi. See you there at Showdown Maskam Friday night.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 10 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. Rudolph Thomas can meet all galvanized doors, windows, toilets, basins, and bidets. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Showdown Mascam presents night number 12 this Friday, February 2nd, 2024, with the return to the Iron Monkey Bar in Soufriere from 8:30 p.m. Come and hear Soul Boost, Triumph, Lady V, Picklock, Lulu, Big C, Trinity, Lady S, Prince of Peace, Oracle, Mask Eruption, King Bob! There's some time that government over the country but Taco! No traffic, guys and more! I'm a one sitting. The Showdown Mascam this Friday, February 2nd, 2024 at the Iron Monkey Bar. Only $20 gets you in. Our sponsors, EMS, Isa Trading, DNO Flow, Faith Restaurant Bar and Grill, Bright Star Early Childcare and Preschool, Do It Center, KFC, Singwalla, Bloomquist Williams, Come City, Q95 and Sports Rap on Q95. Showdown Mascam. Galion, Kashaku epi Soufriere, Maskam Kaviwe, Potekayo, Iron Monkey Bar en Soufriere, Hot Wheathead Demi. See you there. Showdown Mascam Friday night.
Right, good. Thank you very much. And that black thing there is what?
And we have noted Caribbean cricket commentator Red Spear online now. We're supposed to be joined by Andrew Mason.
Yeah.
First, let me say good night to you, Reds.
And good night to you and your panel and all of the Commonwealth of Dominica. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. And good evening to all who are listening on the radio and on Facebook and beyond the shores of the Commonwealth.
Well, we have Ronald Lander, is part of the panel, Emmanuel Loblack as well. So we can say good night to you.
Good night.
Good night, Red. Good to see you.
Well, nice to see you drinking away like you were thirsty.
Yeah, yes. Having some water.
Yes, Reds, okay, let's get started. Andrew hasn't joined in yet, so I guess you'll join us at some point. I am sure watching the West Indies victory in the second test of the series, the two-match series, I'm sure like all West Indians, you're happy with what you saw. And let me come straight up and ask you the question. What impressed you most with that victory of the West Indies team in the second test?
Well, obviously, the highlight was the bowling of Joseph. And let me say, gentlemen, that not only Lara and Hooper cried. A lot of us cried. I can assure you. It was a sensational turnaround from a man who limped off the field. We are told there was no fracture, no break, but he was not expected to play, not expected to go to the ground. Then there was a telephone call from the doctor. He went. He didn't go to play from all the reports. And the next thing, they had to go back to the hotel to get his gear. So it was really a dramatic return on the last day. And Lockhart, you have played the game at the highest level, gentlemen. The man bowled 12 overs and change.
That's
non-stop.
true. That's true. Yeah. But Reg, I want to ask you the question. You are Guyanese as well, and like Shama, who came from the country areas, you yourself was a guy who came from, I think, Essequibo, right?
That's correct.
So I'm sure you can identify somebody like him, Shama Joseph.
Yeah, sure. And I come from the Pomeroon River, which was a much more developed river than the river of Kanji. We didn't have a lot of cricket. There was a ground at Martindale, built by the father of Dave Martin, the great Guyanese musician. And cricket was played there. Cricket was played about 5 other areas, which basically came out of the days of the colonial managers bringing the game, and then people going to Georgetown, coming back, and maybe playing a little bit. But I mean, he had nothing like that. I mean, he was playing with a lemon. He was making all kinds of inventions, and only came to New Amsterdam and Berbice, which you know very well, Lockhart, until very late in life,
Yeah.
One person who is not getting a lot of credit, although he linked with Shepherd, is Houston Crandon. Houston Crandon played a very big part in helping him with his action, etc. And I think that has gone unnoticed.
Well, and Crandon was a coach for a very long time, eh? Crandon, the Guyana coach for a very long time. Yeah. But I think now he's living in New Amsterdam, I've been told. He's living in New Amsterdam, yeah.
He's living in New Amsterdam. I think basically, I mean, the family home is still at Baracara. But you could imagine that all that will change very soon. But he probably will always go back to his roots, He always go back to his roots. But he no doubt he'll build a home somewhere where he has access to training and access to cricket.
Well, Red, I'm sure you saw it. In fact, we spoke earlier today. The West Indies board now have upgraded his franchise contract to an international contract. So that's very good news for the young man.
Oh, great. I think basically they had to look legally, maybe through the lawyer, I would imagine, to see if there could be any legal challenges later on by others. I think I told you I would have liked to seen that happen a little earlier. I mean, it happened early Sunday morning. I mean, the directors, the cricket committee had time to think about this. I don't know how you feel, Lockhart. Do you think it should have come a little earlier, where a lot of things began happening around him? You heard of the contract in the Emirates, which was then cancelled. I'm happy about that. You heard that he was contracted by the Darren Sami club
in Pakistan.
In Pakistan. And we weren't hearing from the West Indies board. We weren't hearing that director of cricket, Miles Bascom, has been in touch with him and congratulated him. That kind of quick, sharp, seizing the moment. I don't believe we really seize the moment, but it has happened. He's got financial security very early in his young life. And, I supported what Ambrose said. Play the white ball, play the 4-day game, develop your longer format. Ian Bishop was saying protect him, manage him. I'm told he's got an Australian agent, and he's now linked to RBCC. and a Big Bash franchise, but no names, and no amounts being given. But I mean, he's on his way to financial independence.
Well, you know, you asked me the question a while ago. Both you and I were on a Jamaican station on Monday night interview for half an hour, and I was asked a question, and the point I made was the board has to be careful because you cannot set a precedent that every time somebody does well, you do quickly go and give a contract. The point I made on the program was that Guyana is now progressing. A number of big firms in Guyana. So what they could get together and buy off the contract of the team from Pakistan. So he then can now play for Guyana in the 4-day competition which starts next week and help develop himself. And also the batsman will be playing against a bowler now who is very good. So that's why I said the West Indies board must be careful how they do it, because if you do it for one, you have to do it for all. So it can't be every time a guy goes on tour, he does something good and you say, bam, let's give him a contract. No.
Well, I appreciate the point about the precedent, but this was a no-brainer. I mean, this guy just impressed just about everybody who saw him. I mean, you know, everybody, A.B. de Villiers, you named them. He was a Malcolm Marshall reincarnation. And, you know, I would have liked him to have played 4 balls. So Curtly was saying that. I still believe in the heart of heart. But, you know, Lockhart, gentlemen in the panel, you know, the world is changing and you got to be a little flexible. And I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he doesn't get hurt. He doesn't get hurt. And, you know, we don't have a Jeffrey Archer situation ever developing.
Question, Sibo.
Nobby, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Ask a question, Nobby.
Yes, good night, Reds.
Good night.
As first thing that has to be done, that this injury, this toe injury he has, he make sure that is taken care of properly. It can be an impediment for him down the road. So we have to ensure that this is healed properly. But there's something that we must not overlook. While we're saying yes, this performance of Joseph, don't forget the foundation in the first inning, the batting of Hodge and De Silva. Very, very important.
Yes, I mean, they kept us in the game.
Yes.
They kept us in the game. I was a little disappointed in the second innings where 4 men got starts and didn't go on. Because ideally, I had done a report saying I'm looking and hoping that we set Australia about 250. Well, it wasn't as far as that, simply because, you know, nobody went on. If one of them had gone on to get a 90, 100 would be great. We'd have been in that 250 area.
But the run out of Hodge, the way he was batting, that run out there just put everything, because he was really settled in here and he was taking his time.
Yeah. Well, the momentum of the shot carried him forward. The right leg then went past the left leg, and you got to give it to Hedge. You know, you remind me of Logie or a Roger Harper feeling there. You quickly, I mean, you know, didn't think for a second.
Yep.
Really good.
I want to reiterate something that Lobby said. The batting of Hodge and De Silva, as they did in the practice game. West Indies was 64 for 5. And then Hodge and De Silva came together. Hodge scored 71 and De Silva 79. Sinclair came a little lower down in the order and scored 50. Plus Alvaro Joseph 32. And that contributed to the free level.
True.
However, in the second inning, as you correctly said, quite a number of people got good starts. Mackenzie 41, Afanas 35, Hodge 29, and Greaves 33. What can we do? What can we do to assist our young batsmen to concentrate and convert those stats into big scores?
Well, somebody might say, don't play 2020 cricket. because the young Jamaican batsman, I mean, how he going to play that shot at that time? You know, he's facing maybe the best off spinner in the world right now, and looking to try and sweep that. But I think you're making very good points that there was a number of men who put their hands up, but they are probably overshadowed by the magical, outstanding performance
Of Shamar.
Of Shamar Joseph.
Okay, Red, hold on. We've now been joined by the man who has this popular program every Tuesday night in Barbados, where he has all these prime ministers making contributions. Good evening, Mr. Andrew Mason. Good evening.
Mike.
Andrew, we're not hearing you. Hold on.
Lockhart, if he comes on, could I recharge my battery?
Your mic, yes, Red. Yeah, Andrew, check your mic. We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you, Andrew.
Are you hearing me now?
We're hearing you now, Andrew. We're hearing you now. Still not hearing you. Andrew,
I have 10 minutes left on my battery, so let's continue until Andrew Mason joins us.
Andrew, unmute your mic.
Yeah.
You mute it again. You mute again. Unmute it, please.
Yeah, but I've done that.
No, we're hearing you clearly now.
Are you hearing me now?
We're hearing you now. We're hearing you now.
Right. Okay.
Good evening. Well, you're late. Dominicans looking forward to listen to you, and you're joining late, Andrew.
Well, it's because I was watching the scenes from Guyana. In fact, when I get a chance, I'll send you the video.
Right.
As you know, Shamar arrived in Guyana from London. In fact, only last night, the Big Cats, the Clive Lloyd, had actually entertained him, making sure that he was well taken care of. I had a long chat with him, and he arrived in Guyana a couple of hours ago, mobbed at the airport. And you expect that. If welcome Shamar had speeches from the Minister of Sport, Charles Ramson, and of course the president of the Guyana Cricket Board. So I was actually watching the scenes in Guyana. What scenes as well?
Yeah, well, Andrew, I'm sure you watched the entire game. I'm sure a noted commentator like you were very happy with what you saw in the second test match.
Yeah, I saw fight, I saw resilience, and I also felt that once we got in 200 runs or more, we had a fighting chance. And I'll say this to you, had Joseph been fit on the third afternoon after tea, it could have been a different situation. Heart, gut, fight, everything. And when you look at it, we had some very important performances, Joseph standing. But look at that 30 that Graves got towards the end to get us towards that 200. Look at the performance of Kevin Hodge, that 27 needed to run out. So you had one or two important performances that got us to a score that you could have defended with the pink ball. And, Shamar's only bowled the pink ball for the first time. The lengths are good, and that's the important thing about Shamar. His lengths are very good, and I think it really made a significant difference. Perhaps the other Joseph can learn a bit from Shamar because, Azari tends to be a little bit short, but of course, we hope that he can improve that because wherever you have a Shamar Joseph and an Azari Joseph, I'm looking, of course, to the regional competition now, which is going to be starting on February the 7th. For
next Wednesday.
Yeah, a Shamar holder. Because in the halcyon days of West Indies cricket, we had fast bowlers that were bowling close to 90 miles an hour. And you need that constant pressure. So we really want to congratulate the West Indies team.
Andrew, I want you to listen to that. A voice to both you and Reds. I want you all to listen to a comment from Justin Holder. Please, just listen. Just listen.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I just want to formally congratulate the guys on their triumph in Australia. And it was absolutely wonderful to see. And I was watching it as well, too. So it was really heartwarming to see everyone, on the team from support staff right down to the last player, just rallying together, staying behind the guys and fighting. One of the things that we always ask for, as a public is fight, and that team showed us a whole lot of fight, and I just want to congratulate Craig, the entire group. I've spoken to them individually, but yeah, to Craig, the entire group, and a special congratulations to Shamar. I think not only his performances stood out, but he inspired an entire nation. And I want to thank him personally for that, just for that inspiration, to come out and produce the spell he produced under these circumstances, obviously with his toe, was just remarkable. So kudos to him. I think the sky's the limit for him and his career. And I just want to wish him all the very best. But again, well done to the boys. Congratulations to Craig and the group. And, no doubt, hopefully I'll be looking forward to rejoining the team at some stage. But yeah.
Okay, Andrew and Reds, I'll take you first, Andrew. What do you make of this comment, particularly comment where he said, I'm looking forward to joining the team. This is a man who on 2 tours has not gone on tour, and now he's saying he's looking forward to get back in the team. Andrew, I'll take you first.
It's a very interesting comment coming from the former West Indies captain. And in fact, in our chat, there was a great divide as to whether he should come back or not. My view is that you need to stay with the players that went to Australia.
True.
And against all the odds, they performed quite well. I'm not going to leave them out for anyone at all. Guys, they've got choices to make, but my view is that I'm going to stick with those who actually went to Australia. I'm going to do that.
Let's build around that team.
Reds, what do you have to say about that comment by Jason Holder?
Well, I don't believe that he put the best words together. I didn't hear the question by the man who was interviewing him. It might have been an interview. Sometimes the question could be leading, but I would prefer him to have said, I'm available for the tour of England. I think
if selected,
yes. But I think what he said maybe was not maybe the most politically correct way of saying it. But I expect that they will pull him in because of he's committed to red ball cricket from all reports. He probably had a chat with this selector because we don't have selectors in place now. It starts on February the 7th, and the Honorable Desmond Haynes can't travel to Jamaica, St. Kitts, and Trinidad. So when will West Indies Cricket Board put out the selectors for 2024?
I fully concur with Mr. Mason in that we've had those players around with us, and some of the players have turned their back on West Indies cricket. Hope is a contracted player, yet he did not join the team to go to Australia. You've got people like Poran and Holt and Myers that refuse to take contracts. They wanted to go to make their money. No, we've seen a change in West Indies cricket. We've seen a young group of guys with potential. And I strongly recommend that we build around those guys. One of the most important things, and with the 2 experienced people, Pereira and Nathan, how do we manage those young persons, especially Shama Joseph? What kind of management support can we give to those young persons to ensure that they fulfill their optimal potential?
Andrew?
Well, first of all, let me say to you that in answer to what Red said just now, I did in fact call Jason Holder and I said to him, look, would you want to comment on the success of the team? And Jason, because of the time difference, could not come on the show live. So he did in fact do a recording. So the question to Jason was, basically, how do you feel about the success of the team? But what is interesting at the end of it, he then said that he's hoping to rejoin the team. I know he's had discussions with Desmond Haynes, whose contract, I understand, expires in September. This is what John.
No, I think it's June. Isn't it June or July? September now?
Well, the last time Johnny Graves was on my show, he said September, but it's around that period. And to be honest with you, I can tell you that perhaps Shamar Joseph actually saved Desmond Haynes' job, because it is my understanding that his contract was not going to be renewed, and I got that from pretty reliable sources. So, in addition to the laughter and what Shamar has done to really excite the Caribbean man, he's also given Desmond Haynes a smile as broad as Brisbane, because I can't see the selectors now moving Desi Haynes. And Roland Butcher, he certainly is a little bit upset too, because in the white ball cricket last year, West Indies did pretty well, but yet a decision was taken to remove Roland Butcher. But just getting back to what you said earlier, well, there's an international contract now, as you know, that there was a release today coming from Cricket West Indies. I'm also told that the Ghana government is going to look after him. I know that President Irfaan Ali is very, very keen to ensure that he is well taken care of. And Ghana will certainly, for sure, take care of Shamar.
You know, Ronald made the point about there's a change in West Indies cricket. You know, sometimes, Reds, Andrew, we have to be careful with that, because in the last 20 years, every time West Indies win a game, we hear about turning the corner. It's only one game, and we have to take it slowly. I don't want us to rush too quickly and speak too quickly. We have to watch what happened in England in the summer. There are free test matches. In fact, I understand the first 3 days, Andrew, Reds at Lords already sold out. So we have to give the guys, watch what's happening in summer before we talk too quickly. Would you agree? Reds?
Well, I think we have to hear from the West Indies board, from the coaching staff, what they are going to do after the 4-ball is finished. They probably have to repick the squad. Are they going to have a long camp? Will they get any cricket after the 4-day is finished? The preparation, I think the first game in England is July the 10th. So what is the plan for the team? Just to follow up on your question. I think that with Shamar Joseph repeating anything near what we saw in Australia, the West Indies should have a very good chance of being very competitive in England. I know the crowds are great. The crowds are great because they have a history of the style of cricket and the greatness of West Indies cricket over the years, starting way back in 1950. But I'd like to hear from the director of cricket what would be the plans to keep the team together. Are we going to have a best versus the rest? Are we going to have a long camp? How many matches? I don't know if Andrew Mason have that information. How many matches are we going to be playing? Are we playing 3 county matches? I'm told only 1 is advertised. I would like to believe we'll get at least 3 or 4 county matches, which is crucial for the guys to assimilate from the Australian conditions to the West Indies. But that's my quick response at this time.
Andrew, I want to ask you a question. I noticed today that Shamar Holder was given a franchise contract. No, you're Barbadian. The Barbadian selectors didn't think he was good enough to give him a contract. In fact, Shamar Holder have been injured for the last year. So I found it strange now that the Cricket West Indies should be giving him a contract. That question for you, Andrew.
Well, here's a guy that, as you said, was injured for some time. In fact, there was a team going around before the official team came out that he was not part of it. And I do know that there were some leading people in Barbados that certainly got involved. I saw him bowl towards the end of the local season last year, and I'll tell you, he looks good. He looks very good. He went to England, got very good treatment, and there was some speculation that he would play for CCC. I think the Barbados selectors did the right thing. In fact, in relation to the regional competition, I'm looking to him because I believe that if you have a Shamar Holder coming through quite well, you could have the 2 Josephs and a Shamar Holder, and you would have 3 bowlers who can bowl at 90 miles an hour. And as I said earlier, the halcyon days of West Indies cricket, we hunted in pairs, we hunted in 4s. And once I get that kind of pace, I'm going to be happy. In relation to the England tour, there are some concerns at the top of the order. You've got Chanderpaul doesn't know where his off stump is. Craig Grattan is not informed, and that must be a major concern because you need to get that start. Mackenzie looks like a player that it's got to be a little bit more careful. Athanaze is a little bit vulnerable outside line the off stump. Yes, you may bowl the people out, but at the same time you got to make runs. So yes, well, and I would say that for England we should be cautiously optimistic, and I agree with you, Lockhart, that we won 1 game. We've not turned the corner by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Question
Okay,
there.
let's switch get ready. Now, tomorrow morning, the under-19 Reds, Andrew, are in a do-or-die situation. West Indies plays at 4, both matches at 4. South Africa plays Sri Lanka. Now, West Indies, the net run rate of Australia, as you know, is 2.7. West Indies' net run rate is 0.13. South Africa has a net run rate of 1.4. So West Indies would have to beat Australia badly and hope that South Africa doesn't beat Sri Lanka tomorrow morning to qualify for the semi-final.
Well, if
Andrew?
you look at how South Africa has played, they have been very impressive. The West Indies have had good individual performances, but not collectively. And the young Antiguan batsman has gone off the boil.
Andrew, you mean?
Yes, I would think that we really have to lift our game a very high standard. Sealy has been bowling well. Tarek Edwards has been very tight, very economical. If the Guyanese fast bowler get his radar right and bowl off stump, the Barbadian fast bowler in the previous game had a very good game. But South Africa are going to start as the favorites, and you just talked about the difference in the rates of two teams.
Yes, Andrew?
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. There have been some inconsistency, although I thought that the victory against England was good. And you know, when you look at this guy, Nathan Edwards, I thought he batted extremely sensibly, worked the ball around. You know, your Pascal has been getting 1 or 2 good scores. Renico Smith, the fast bowler from Barbados, has looked pretty good. And the fact of the matter is that they've won games. And if they can get it right in terms of consistency, not dependent on 1 or 2 players, then I expect the West Indies to be very, very competitive. In the last game against Sri Lanka, I thought that Sealy played a very good knock towards the end, got good support from the tail, and we got over the line. So it's going to be a very, very, very important game. And it could very well be a tight finish as well.
Yes, and as I said, the net run rate, the thing that West Indies have won matches, but the matches they haven't won it convincingly. The matches have been close, so that doesn't help their net run rate. That's what I'm saying. They would have to beat Australia convincingly, and the Australians, you saw them yesterday, Andrew, against England. They really just were right over England, bowled out England for 110. So West Indies have the work cut out for them tomorrow morning at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning.
And the Australian side is a very fit and very, very strong side. There's no doubt about that. They look very, very good.
Captain look very good, the captain. With 100.
It's going to be a tall order.
Okay,
But,
Mr. Mason, what is your impression of Pascal? His captaincy, his batting, his fielding. What is your general impressions of Pascal?
Well, he's not done badly at all, huh? You know, he's a pretty sharp boy, and you know, we need students to the game. I've argued for quite a long time that one of the problems with West Indies cricket is that we're not students of the game. And so far, he's done well, although I thought against England, against the run of play, the shot that he played was not good. It was ill-advised. But so far, he's had 1 or 2 decent scores. I think he's leading the side pretty well and getting good support from Sealy, who has had the experience of captain at the lower level. So in terms of Pascal, not doing badly at all.
Yeah, I come before one. So I come back to my initial point, the initial question I asked you. How can we effectively manage those young players so they can optimize their performance? What can we do, Mr. Mason, with all your experience and knowledge?
Well, I'll tell you this. I know with interest that Ian Bishop only recently talked about compensation for Shamar. But the reality is that you need money, and West Indies cricket, the cricket West Indies is broke. I'm sure that my good friend Lockhart would tell you this. So no. And some of these prime ministers that were on my show, they got to stop talking and inject some money in West Indies cricket. They're going to do that, you know, my friend.
Well, Andrew, you should ask them that. I mean, when you speak to them, you must ask them that. Instead of they running their mouth every time some West Indies does something, you hear them. You don't hear them at all the time. So you must ask them these questions.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But what I would say though is that the performance by the West Indies with Shamar doing so well has really galvanized the people of the region. In fact, I go for my early morning jog. You see some old folks.
Andrew, is it jog or walk now? Walk. Your walk, right. Go ahead, yeah.
Right. And you know, they're so excited. You know, the security guard, this morning we went to work, the smile is as broad as Australia. And what we have is a West Indian very happy with the performance of one individual, Shamar Joseph. And that is excited. I don't know what it is in Dominica, but certainly here in Barbados,
all over the Caribbean,
a level of excitement that I really am quite happy with. I would imagine it's all over the Caribbean.
All around the Caribbean, people are just happy because, particularly the opponents are the Australians. I mean, you know how people feel about the Australians, the Caribbean people.
And Tim Payne is quite upset because you know, Gilchrist was celebrating with Lara. We know with interest Healy coming out and criticizing Cummins. So the Australian greats are not happy at all. Remember,
and Rodney Hogg, you remember, made a stupid comments as well. Rodney Hogg.
But Rodney Hogg is living up to his name.
Mr. Mason, we are very happy in Dominica. We're very impressed, especially we've got 2 players on the West Indies team for the first time, Athanas and Hodge. And you've got
That's not really correct, no, but Philip and Irvin played together. That's not correct. In 78, Irvin and Zaidi played together.
So we have those 2 fellas here, and you've got Shamar Joseph coming in a very effective way. So everybody's happy in Dominica. And we trust that there can be some technical support given to the young players. I understand the component.
You must ask your prime minister if he's going to give any support to Hodge and to Athanas.
Well, he gave them diplomatic passports.
The ambassadors.
He gave them diplomatic passports. Andrew. Okay, let's answer your question.
Yes.
Well, he made a very big statement on my show only a couple of days ago. So let's hope that there's not all talk, that we get some.
Well, it's all talk, Andrew. And some of the things he said were not really correct because this academy, I was in the Cricket Association. When it started, we got money from Sanford, as you remember, and that's how the academy was started in Portsmouth, the building. So it wasn't really correct. Anyway, nobody wants to ask a question.
So what's the position with the academy down there, though? Is it functioning?
Yes, it is. It is functioning. Of course, there are nets there now. You have indoor nets as well down there now. It's functioning, yeah. It is functioning. I go there now and then. You have guys.
I thought Hodge played an important knock. You know, when you look at, you know, low scores games, as you know, Sibo, you know, a fellow could come at a particular time and make a 20 or 20. It may not appear to be a lot, but it's so important.
Oh,
You know, with the pink ball, the ball does a lot. So I was not surprised that it was going to be a low scoring game. And I always felt that once we gotten over 200 with Shamar on the side, if you know, we had a chance. And the guys really stuck to the guns well. And the catches of the West Indies team, I don't know if you've spoken about it, but
yes,
brilliant catches in the slip area.
Correct. Lobby, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes, the question I'm looking at going forward right now is my concern for some time. Yes, Shamar has delivered. I'm concerned about fast bowling. In the past, if we score 10 runs, we would bowl the team for 6 runs. Because we had pace. We're looking at the wickets presently in the Caribbean. Do you feel that something has to be done to upgrade the wickets if we have to get more fast bowlers in the Caribbean?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. Although I know that I'm in the minority on this one, but I'm not so sure that the pitches in the Caribbean are as slow as we make them out to be. Because I've seen fast bowlers wake up pitches, and I'm sure that Lockhart will agree with me on this. I remember Malcolm Denzel Marshall bowling that border, and it was back, and he was about to. I remember when he was in Jamaica, he didn't look good at all, and he was under some pressure just before he retired. We went to border. And he bowled with tremendous pace. And we always say that border is a batsman's paradise. And I've seen some very quick bowling at border. So we need to have people that can bowl fast too. You know, you got Shamar. the thing about Shamar is his length. He pitches the ball up, and as you know, a ball that is through the air is much quicker than one that comes off the pitch. And certainly he's sharp. I would like to see Alzarri Joseph gets his length right. I'm not quite sure that that consistently enough. He only has 1 5-acre haul in 32 test matches, you know. So we need to get more from him. I think that the regional competition is going to be of great interest. Shamar Holder, the Temi Isaiah Thorne from Guyana has got ability as well. I don't know if there's anyone in the Windwards locker up that you would want to keep your eyes on. Anybody?
No real pace around, no. To be honest, no real pace. Yeah.
No real pace. So if you can get 3 or 4 of them, you know, really coming through and really exerting pressure, but you also have to score runs, and that is important because remember the Halcyon days of West Indies cricket, we had some great players. You know, Richards, Lloyd, Kelly Turan. So it was a magnificent combination of consistent performances.
You said something early on about the Australians, how they look fit. The emphasis I find right now with our young players compared to, you look at England, Australia, India, Pakistan, how they get their players. Fitness is of paramount importance. Do you think that our fitness...
And you're right. You know, let's go back to Shamar. I remember when I first saw Shamar Joseph bowling in the CPL last year, I went to my program and I said that I would take him to Australia. And a Guyanese, my good friend Mark Harper, who's in the chat with you, Sibo, said, Andrew, you're smoking cheap weed. Can I repeat that?
Yeah.
Andrew, you're smoking cheap weed.
And that's a guy who played cricket, Mark.
Can you imagine? But what I saw, in fact, I remember calling Leon Johnson in the morning. And Leon Johnson, the captain, the successful captain, said to me that he expects this guy to go very far because he was bowling sharp. As you know, he picked up a 5-wicket haul. He only played 5 first-class matches, you know. But what impressed me about it was not only his pace, but he looked like an athlete.
Yeah, that's it.
He looked fit.
Very athletic.
Exactly. And you know, Tino Best is his coach. You may not know this, but Tino Best is his coach in terms of helping out with training and all that. And he's super fit. I'm told that in Barracara, where he lives, which is in Berbice, the largest county in Guyana, you know, 350 people, but he was a former security guard running up and down the place, very much in the gym. And once he continues doing that, fitness is important. He bowled 11 overs on the trot.
True. And there's a caller on the line, Andrew. Hold on. There's a caller. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Charles.
Put off your radio and we're getting a feedback here. Go on.
No, my radio is not on.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, I want to follow up with what Ron Lander was talking about. I thought he was heading in that direction. And that was that
come on.
We have been injury plagued. All our fast bowlers from every.
Jerry, we're in the feedback. Somebody's on
so I want.
Go on, ask the question. Go on.
Yes. So I was asking and
but echo. No.
Information that something to protect young Shamar that he doesn't go on down that road. The Australian fast bowlers do not get those injuries. So why is it happening to West Indian fast bowlers?
Well,
something's wrong.
That's a good question you're asking because you know that if you're unfit, you're inclined to get injuries. You know.
True.
If you're unfit, you're inclined to get injuries, and this is why one of the things that we need to see an improvement in is the general fitness of our cricketers.
Thank you very much.
I've said it for quite a long time that we are not as fit as we should be.
Because the onus is on you as a professional to do the extra work.
Sir Andy Roberts, you're right about that. There's no doubt about that, Emmanuel. Sir Andy Roberts is also making the comment all the time is about personal responsibility. Sir Andy Roberts will tell you, you know, when he played for the West Indies, he would jog, you know, for long periods. He would, and certainly was fit. Wayne Daniel, I remember when he played for the West Indies, you would see him at 12 o'clock in the 12 o'clock sun running around. Michael Holden, very athletic. Colin Croft bowls so many overs at border. And the thing about Shamar is that he is a reflection of his circumstances, you know.
True.
Think about it. Here's a man who understands struggle, you know. Here's a man that only 3 or 4 years ago they got internet in his area. Here's a man that was a security guard. No, think about it. Here's a man that I came from abject poverty. So he understands struggle. So do not be surprised that he's done so well. Let's look at Shivnarine Chandapal. Chandapal came from an area very poor indeed, abject poverty again, and there was a struggle. And the Guyanese. I mean, we sometimes people, you know, say a lot of things that are very unkind, but the reality is, no, it is true. It is very true. The Guyanese, they work very hard, and it is as a result of their circumstances. The best gardener that you could get anywhere in the world is a Guyanese. I had a Guyanese who was my gardener for 10 years, and I cried when he left. No, I mean, these things are fundamental, you know. So therefore, Shamar is as a result of his circumstances, the struggle, and as a result of that, you see the performance coming through. You look, he bowled the ball at Smith.
Steve Smith, yeah.
But in the second innings of 87, and had my captain had a second slip in, the game would not have gone so close.
True.
Because at that stage, you could not just have one slip. One of the other things that we also have to be very careful about, because in success, there's also failure.
True.
And sometimes we do not critically analyze a game. Yes, we won the game, but there was also some failure in. So that when people are jumping and saying that, look, we're going to beat England, we got to be careful.
Exactly. We have another caller. Hold on, Andrew. Good evening.
Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes.
How are you doing, man?
Very good. Good. Go and ask the question. Andrew is there.
Yeah, I want to say congratulations to the West Indies, man. That was really, really a great test match. I played it over and over and over and over because I realized it was a day when West Indies cricket seems to me get out of the dark hole. And it's now moved. But we have to make sure that these players, that sometimes we say so many things, we're excited, but we have to remember, we have to make sure that we guide these players that they can go forward and they can build on what they have. Now, one of my concerns with West Indies cricket, especially is with the captain, Bradford. I find to myself that Bradford is not really reading the game many times. For instance, you have a man bowling over 90 miles an hour. And I remember watching Lloyd in Australia, he would have a fly slip. If he had a fly slip or he had 4 slips and a goalie, Steve Smith would have been out a long time ago. So I think Bradford have to begin to show a greater leadership role and read the game, put pressure on the opposition, because that's what you have to do. You must put pressure on the opposition if you are going to bowl them out.
Thank you, caller. Well, Andrew, I want you to respond to that because I know you have been critical of captains in the Caribbean.
I've been critical of them because they make basic elementary errors. Now, let's go back to the first innings where the captain of the Australian side, Cummins, made 64 runs. Now, when you look at the graph, we had a situation where he was backing away down towards square leg with the two Joseph coming in, and yet my captain did not see it necessary to put a third man in. And
There's a lot of runs there, yeah. True.
In fact, when you look at it, Cummins got about 30 runs down to the unprotected third man boundary.
You're right.
When things got tight, Joseph was bowling to Smith. And despite the fact that Smith was on 87, you surely should have at least 2 slips. And I'll also say this to you, and Shibo would agree with me here, cricket has changed a lot.
True.
Because how on earth could you, in that tight situation, take a run off the 4th ball? It has to be the 5th.
Well, he was batting like Sean Paul.
I could not understand it. And in fact, you would realize too that a lot of the Australian law order got up because Smith did not shield them.
True.
True.
Very correct.
No.
Yeah.
In the days of Sebo, I batted. I looking for a run off the fifth ball.
Yeah. You remember I batted in Barbados and I shield. You remember that inning when I batted for 98 not out and Javelin got out here. I was shielding from number 5. Yeah.
And the other thing too, Sebo, what I'm finding about cricket is that we don't have some very strange field positions. We don't have men at the backward point boundary for fast bowlers. You know, we don't normally have the traditional mid-off and mid-on anymore.
Or even leg slips, leg gully. You hardly see that. No forward chop leg for fast bowlers.
And in fact, you had a situation where Buffett sometimes even over-attacked. There was no need for 4 slips, Sebo. 4 slips for what?
True.
Take the 4 slip and put him down to third man and cut out those runs. Because Cummins was mid-64, and that is what got them so close to us. Because we looked at one stage as if we'd have gotten a sizable first innings lead. Am I right, gentlemen?
Correct. But Andrew, you made the point about the openers, and that is a cause for concern.
Yes.
You have 2 guys who bat basically the same way. So if these guys were to bat for 4 hours, at the end of a day's play, West Indies could probably be 150 runs in an entire day because both of them play the same way. And nobody's trying to, like for instance, Craig Bradford is playing long enough to know at least he can rotate the strike or that sort of thing. But both of them does bat basically the same way. So it's a problem for the West Indies, really.
No, you're right. You see, and they don't threaten. You see, you know, British and Haynes and Lockhart Sebastian, you know, these guys used to put bowlers under pressure. These guys don't. They don't.
And Fredericks.
Yeah, hook and pull. And Chandler Paul doesn't seem to know where his off stump is.
Yeah, he's struggled. Ever since he made that 100 against Zimbabwe, he has struggled.
Yes.
And maybe Kirk McKenzie is an opener by a bring-in. That's probably is something they could look at. He's an opener by a bring-in. So if he could go for Jamaica from next week and make runs in the 4-day competition, that's another option they have.
You're very right. Because if Chandler Paul comes in the regional competition and does not make runs, he could be under pressure in relation to going to England, you know.
Yes.
He could be under pressure. He could be under tremendous pressure because he's really failed miserably in recent times.
That's true.
And he doesn't. And the other thing about it too is he doesn't seem to know what to do.
You're right. You're very right.
Andrew, do you agree? You agree with me that Holder, he has dropped a lot. I'm not satisfied with the bowling of Holder.
You're talking about Jason Holder?
Yeah, Jason Holder.
Well, you know, in West Indies cricket, we believe that Jason Holder is a superstar. I think Jason Holder is okay. I think he's okay. I think he's an okay cricketer. I've never seen him as one necessary to bowl a side out.
He's not sharp as before. I think he's not sharp.
He's off. He's okay. He's a decent cricketer, and that's it. Yeah. No more than
not what we saw of him before. Presently, I find as a senior player, I find he's not sharp as before.
Not only that too, but do not be surprised, despite the talk that he's making. Do not be surprised if he doesn't play any more red ball cricket. These guys are making money all across the world, you know.
T5, T10, T2.
Yeah. We have to wind up now.
I've listened to a few interviews of Shama Joseph, and he speaks very intelligently. What's his educational background? What's his educational background? Are you aware of his educational background?
But again, no. If you listen to me carefully, right? When I talked about his circumstances, I was referring to that. Now, perhaps if he had an opportunity, you never know. This guy. I'll give an example just before I go, because I know you finished it at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we have to wind up here.
And this is good. This is going to take just a couple seconds. There's a guy in Barbados, right? He used to be a groundsman at the Lord School in Barbados, and Matt Fingal, the noted Calypsonian, kept saying to me all the time, "But this guy is sharp. And I said to Mac, but what is this all about? Mac Fingal encouraged this guy to go back to school. And today, the guy has a master's degree and is teaching at the same school. So
Which one? Who are you referring to?
No. I was just using an example of a guy in Barbados that you hear him speak and you know that there must be more to him. So therefore, when you look at a Shamar Joseph, he speaks very intelligent. And I'll tell you something about him. He is going to be loved around the region because he has a personality as well.
Yes, he has charisma. He has charisma, Andrew. He has charisma.
Remember, he said that Dr. Bam gave him 2 tablets and he didn't know what happened, but it worked.
Okay, Andrew, thank you very much to you and Reds. It was nice having you, and we'll be in touch again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Very much indeed. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, guys, we have to wind up. What's in this place tonight, by the way? Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Yeah, all the best. Thank you. Yeah, guys, what's in this place tonight, 11:30. They play again on Saturday, 11:30, and on Monday, 11:30. The under-19 tomorrow, 4 a.m. They have a crucial game against Australia tomorrow morning. So I'm sure we'll be looking forward. India and England play at 12 o'clock tonight.
Very interesting test match. First test match. Very interesting.
Yeah, England came back very well. They did very
That
well.
was shocking, Sibo.
Well, yeah, but the guy played a brilliant inning. Ollie Pope, brilliant inning. And I'm sure, Obi, I don't know if you guys follow in the African Cup of Nations.
Oh, yeah.
Now down to the quarterfinal stage. A lot of the big guns have been beaten. Cameroon, Morocco, the team that they were the favorites. South Africa beat them 2 days ago. So we're down to the quarterfinal.
That was the biggest shock. South Africa beat Morocco.
Yeah, Nigeria playing tomorrow against, I think it is Angola. And then you have Cape Verde playing Guinea-Bissau. And then Ivory Coast, the host nation, they played on Saturday. So
yeah,
a lot
because
of
you have teams like Angola, Ivory. So those teams, they're surprising, where they are now.
Yeah, all the big guns have been beaten. All the big guns. So, guys, we have to end up. Next week, by now, we'll know if West Indies are into the semifinals of the under-19. By that time next week, all the one-day games will have been finished, and the ODI start the T20 starts next week, Friday. Okay? So, on behalf of Ronald Lander, Emmanuel Loblack, I want to say good night. Good night, everybody.
Gentlemen,
have a
stay
very
safe.
good evening.
When I get you again, stay safe.
All right. Be safe. Yes.
See, boy, you still walking, exercising?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, Globby, enjoy yourself. Stay close. Don't get into the cold. It's cold up there, okay? All right. Have a good night, my brother.
Like a shepherd.
All right, my brother. Take care. Take care, man. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Australia. It's absolutely wonderful.
It's nice one tonight. Yeah. Very nice. Very good. Very nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.